What if the reason people sometimes die in public isn't because nobody saw what was happening, but because too many people did? Picture this. A man collapses in the middle of a busy subway platform. Dozens of people are standing around. Everyone sees him. Nobody moves. Not for 10 seconds, not for 30 seconds, not even for a full minute. It sounds unbelievable, but situations like this have happened over and over again. And the disturbing part is that the more people who witness the emergency, the less likely anyone is to help. Psychologists call this the bystander effect. It's one of the strangest and most unsettling things about human behavior. The bystander effect is the tendency for individuals to be less likely to help a victim when other people are present. Instead of jumping in, people subconsciously assume someone else will do something. Responsibility gets diluted across the crowd. Everyone is waiting for someone else to be the hero. One of the most famous cases that brought attention to this phenomenon happened in 1964 with the murder of Kitty Genovese in New York. According to early reports, dozens of people heard or saw parts of the attack and no one immediately intervened or called police. Whether the exact numbers were exaggerated or not, the story shocked the public and led psychologists to investigate a chilling question. Why do ordinary people sometimes freeze when someone needs help? Researchers John Darley and Bib Latané decided to test this in experiments. In one study, participants were placed in a room and asked to fill out a questionnaire. Smoke suddenly began pouring into the room through a vent. When participants were alone, about 3/4 of them quickly reported the smoke. But when they were sitting with other people who were ignoring it, only about 10% spoke up. Most just sat there as the room slowly filled with smoke. Think about that. People were willing to sit quietly in a potentially dangerous situation simply because everyone else looked calm. Another experiment was even creepier. Participants were placed in separate rooms and told they were part of a group discussion over intercom. During the discussion, one participant, who was actually an actor, suddenly sounded like he was having a seizure and begged for help. When people believed they were the only one who could hear him, most rushed to help immediately. But when they thought several other people were also listening, response times slowed dramatically, and some never helped at all. The emergency didn't change. The only thing that changed was the presence of other witnesses. So what's actually happening inside our brains during these moments? There are a few powerful psychological forces at play. The first is diffusion of responsibility. When you're the only person around, the responsibility is clearly yours. But in a crowd, responsibility gets spread thin. Your brain starts thinking, someone else will handle it. Surely someone more qualified is already calling for help. The second force is social proof. Humans constantly look to others to decide how to behave. If everyone else seems calm, we assume the situation must not be serious. Imagine hearing a loud crash in a restaurant. If nobody reacts, your brain hesitates. But if one person jumps up and runs toward the noise, suddenly everyone moves. The third factor is fear of embarrassment. People worry about overreacting. What if the person isn't actually in danger? What if I look stupid? That tiny fear can be enough to keep someone frozen while seconds tick away. And this isn't just theory. There are real-world examples that show how powerful the bystander effect can be. In 2011, a man in China named Yue was hit by a van and left injured on the road. Security footage showed dozens of people walking past without helping before someone finally stopped. The video sparked outrage across the country. But the uncomfortable truth is that similar moments happen everywhere in the world. Even in smaller situations, you can see the effect in action. Imagine a crowded gym where someone drops a heavy weight on their foot. If the gym is full of people, there's often a split second where everyone looks around waiting to see who moves first. That hesitation is the bystander effect playing out in real time. But here's the twist most people don't realize. The bystander effect can disappear instantly if just one person takes action. The moment someone steps forward and says something like, "Call 911, the spell breaks. Suddenly other people start helping too. Leadership, even accidental leadership, changes the entire dynamic of a crowd. There's actually a simple trick psychologists recommend if you ever need help in a public place. Don't shout help to the whole crowd. Instead, Point directly at someone and say, "You in the blue shirt, call 911." By assigning responsibility to a specific person, you eliminate diffusion of responsibility and dramatically increase the chances they will act. Now here's the part that gets uncomfortable. Most people like to believe they would be the one who helps, the brave one, the person who jumps in while everyone else freezes. But the experiments show something humbling. Ordinary, decent people are just as vulnerable to the bystander effect as anyone else. It's not about being a bad person. It's about how human psychology behaves in groups. But the good news is that simply knowing about the bystander effect makes you less likely to fall into it. Awareness changes behavior. When you understand that crowds often paralyze action, you're more likely to be the person who breaks the silence. And sometimes that single decision can make the difference between life and death. The next time you're in a crowd and something seems wrong, remember this: everyone else might be waiting for someone to act. The strange truth about human nature is that the hero in those moments often isn't the strongest or the smartest person in the room. It's simply the first person who decides to move. And that person could be you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos. Until next time.